already discussed about anaerobic respiration, that is glycolysis, the common pathway, as well as the fermentation process which occurs in the microorganism as well as plant also, and the lactic acid in the product that is in muscle cell, etc. Now we will discuss aerobic respiration which occurs in presence of oxygen. As we know that glycolysis is the common pathway of aerobic as well as anaerobic respiration, and the end product of this glycolysis is pyruvic acid. Now this which occurred in cytoplasm. Now this pyruvic acid will transport it to the mitochondria for further reaction of Krebs cycle, that is aerobic cycle, aerobic reaction, respiration. Now the pyruvic acid will be converted into acetyl coenzyme A, 2-carbon compound, and then it will be transported to the mitochondria for the reactions of this Krebs cycle. Now the reactions of this Krebs cycle was first elucidated and explained by the scientist Hans Krebs, as well as reactions occurs in the cyclic form, hence it is known as Krebs cycle. The first stable compound of the series of reaction is citric acid, 6-carbon compound, that's why it is also known as citric acid cycle. It is also known as tricarboxylic acid cycle also. Now this pyruvic acid converted into this acetyl coenzyme A, that is 2-carbon compound, along with this oxaloacetic acid which is 4-carbon compound, it will form 6-carbon compound, that is citric acid. This citric acid will, now the next step, it will form alpha ketogluteric acid, that is succinyl coenzyme A, that is succinic acid, fumaric acid, malic acid, and oxaloacetic acid is regenerated, so that the cycle will continue. So in this way the Krebs cycle will occur and huge amount of energy will be produced. Different types of enzymes are also catalyzing this reaction, NAD, etc. all will involve in this reaction, that we will discuss through this diagram.
Previous classes we have studied about the respiration in plants, that is aerobic as well as anaerobic respiration, the types. Now this aerobic respiration includes two steps. First step, which is common for aerobic as well as anaerobic respiration, is known as glycolysis. Glycolysis means the lysis of glucose into the pyruvic acid. The end product of this glycolysis which occurs in the cytoplasm, this pyruvic acid will enter into the next step, that is citric acid cycle. Before that it will be converted into the acetyl coenzyme A. Now this citric acid cycle or Krebs cycle which occurs in the mitochondria, there in the matrix of mitochondria, here the product of this citric acid cycle or Krebs cycle is NADH and FADH2, that will enter into the process of electron transport system in which occurs in the inner mitochondrial membrane, and through the process of oxidative phosphorylation it will give rise to the ATP. This occurs through the electron transport system and the phenomena is known as chemiosmosis. Inner mitochondrial membrane has F0 and F1 particles which help in this process. So we have in previous class we have studied different steps of glycolysis. Now we will study the steps of this Krebs cycle which occurs in the mitochondria. Krebs cycle or citric acid cycle is the next step in the aerobic respiration. Pyruvic acid, which is the end product of glycolysis, or will enter into the mitochondria. Before that it will convert into the acetyl coenzyme A. Pyruvic acid is 3-carbon compound, whereas this acetyl coenzyme A is 2-carbon compound, and in this process 2 NADH2 will produced and 1 molecule of CO2 is released. Now this acetyl coenzyme A, that is 2-carbon compound, and oxaloacetic acid, that is 4-carbon compound, will undergo the combination and it will form the 6-carbon compound, that is citric acid. The first stable compound is product is citric acid, that is why this step is this phenomena is also known as citric acid cycle. Now this citric acid cycle will undergo decarboxylation and it will give rise to 5-carbon compound, that is alpha ketogluteric acid. Here NADH2 is also produced. Now this 5 carbon compound, that is alpha ketoglutaric acid, will again undergo the process of decarboxylation, and it will synthesize succinic acid via succinyl coenzyme A. Here also GTP is produced and NADH2 is also produced. Now this succinic acid will undergo the process of synthesis of malic acid, that is also 4 carbon compound. In this step the FADH2 is synthesized, produced, and this malic acid will now convert into oxaloacetic acid, and in this way it will the oxaloacetic acid will continue this cycle. And because all the reactions were elucidated by the scientist, that is Hans Krebs, and that is why this phenomena is known as Krebs cycle, and all the reaction occurs in the cyclic form, and that is why cycle. So citric acid cycle or the Krebs cycle is the next step of aerobic respiration, in which this in Krebs cycle about 24 ATPs are produced, and this is very important phenomena because it produce this alpha ketoglutaric acid or succinic acid, malic acid, etc., which are commercially very useful things, and they help in different activities, different synthesis of different products. The citric acid cycle, this here we can see this. So this acetyl coenzyme A is known as the connecting link between the glycolysis and the Krebs cycle, because pyruvic acid will convert into acetyl coenzyme A, and this will enter into the process of Krebs cycle. Here different types of enzymes which help in this process, that is citrate synthetase, then ecotinase, isocitrate dehydrogenase, alpha ketoglutarate dehydrogenase complex, then succinyl coenzyme A synthetase, then succinic dehydrogenase, then fumarase, malate dehydrogenase. All these enzymes help in this process of this Krebs cycle. These are the reactions showing that which this substrate is producing which product stepwise, and this is the net equation of the citric acid cycle, that is acetyl coenzyme A plus 3 NAD, and it will one molecule of GDP will or ADP will produce this 3 NADH, then coenzyme A, then ATP and CO2. So in this way this citric acid cycle completes and the aerobic respiration completes.
We had already discussed about aerobic as well as anaerobic respiration. There are various reactions. In those the products are NADH as well as FADH2, which have to undergo the process of ETS, that is electron transport system, for production of energy, ATP. For that they will enter into the system, that is electron transport system, which the site is in the mitochondrial inner membrane. This inner membrane contains different types of enzymes, a group of enzymes that will help in the process of production of ATP, release of ATP from these NADH and FADH2. This NADH, it will release the electrons. These electrons will oxidize by the enzyme NADH dehydrogenase, which is also known as the complex 1. This will be transferred to ubiquinone, and now this ubiquinone will be known as ubiquinol after receiving the electrons. In the same way, FADH2 will release the electron to ubiquinol, and it will convert it into ubiquinol by the help of the complex 2 enzyme, that is FADH2 dehydrogenase. Now these two, after oxidizing receiving the electrons, this ubiquinol will release the electron, transfer its electron to cytochrome BC1, and the complex 3 will help in this process, that is cytochrome BC1, then transfer to the cytochrome C by the help of the complex 4, that is cytochrome C complex, which have 2 copper centers, that is cytochrome A and A3. So in this way complex 1, 2, 3 and 4, after passing through that, now it will be released to the 5th complex, that is known as ATP synthetase. This enzyme is present in the inner mitochondrial wall, inner membrane, and we can see this is like this is the structure of the ATP synthetase enzyme having two parts, that is F0 and F1 particles. Now from here ADP with the help of this IP, that is phosphate, will produce ATP through this ATP synthetase, and this is the last and fifth complex which will release ATP. Now finally the hydrogen ions, H plus ion, will be released to the accepted by final acceptor is oxygen, and hence with the help of this hydrogen ion and oxygen they will combine with each other to produce water. Now here we can see the final acceptor is oxygen, as well as in this phenomena ATP is synthesized, that is phosphorylation takes place. Phosphorylation we had already discussed in the photosynthesis chapter also, but that was photophosphorylation because that was occurred in presence of light. Here it occurs in presence of oxygen, and hence it is known as oxidative phosphorylation, that is formation of ATP in presence of oxygen. Oxygen is the final acceptor and it will be converted into water after combining with hydrogen ion. That will also discuss with this diagram.
This slide is showing the chemiosmotic theory. This chemiosmotic theory was first introduced by Peter Mitchell in 1961. This explains about the difference in the proton concentration between the inside the mitochondrial, that is the lumen of this thylakoid, and outside of the lumen, and due to that the electron will proton will be transported from it will cross the membrane and it will result in the production of this ATP. This occurs through the electron transport system. The electrons are carried by the reduced coenzymes and passed through the chain of proteins and coenzymes, and they will cross this inner mitochondrial membrane, and it will known as the oxidative phosphorylation because this last accepting material is oxygen, as well as in this process the synthesis of ATP takes place. That is why it is known as phosphorylation, and because the last acceptor is oxygen, that is why it is known as oxidative phosphorylation. This electron transport is coupled with the oxidative phosphorylation, and it occurs in the site of this chemiosmosis is the inner mitochondrial membrane. It has the F1 and F0 particles which participate in the process of ATP synthesis or phosphorylation. In the process of Krebs cycle, the products, that is NADH, FADH2 etc., will be undergoing the process of this chemiosmosis through this electron transport chain, and it will produce the ATP. That is why it is known as phosphorylation. Now, the free energy which is released in these oxidation reactions are stored in form of NADH and FADH2 that will synthesize ATP. One NADH is equivalent to 3 ATPs, whereas one FADH2 is equivalent to 2 ATP. This ATP production occurs during the glycolysis, and this Krebs cycle will help in the plant in different activities. Now, the GTP or this ATP are produced directly, need not enter this electron transport chain. This electron transport chain, which present in the inner membrane of mitochondria, consists of 5 complex, that is enzymes, that is NADH dehydrogenase, the complex 2 succinate dehydrogenase, complex 3 that is cytochrome B C1 complex, and this complex 4 and the complex 5 that is ATP synthetase. All these 5 enzymes helps in the process of this electron transport chain, and finally the ATP synthesis or the phosphorylation takes place, and the last acceptor of this electron is oxygen, and that is why it is known as oxidative phosphorylation, and that we have already discussed in the previous videos.
Now we will discuss about the total number of ATPs produced in the process of respiration, that is aerobic respiration, and that is also known as respiratory balance sheet. Now during aerobic respiration, one molecule of glucose produces 38 ATPs. Out of that, 2 molecules of ATP is utilized during the glycolysis process, hence net gain is 36 ATP. Now we will see one by one. These are the different stages during which ATPs are released and what is the source as well as total number of ATPs. In glycolysis, the first stage of this respiration, where direct 2 ATPs are synthesized, then 2 molecules of NADH are synthesized, and we know that 1 molecule of NADH is equivalent to 3 molecules of ATP. So in this way 2 into 3, 6 ATP. So total 8 ATPs are there. Then pyruvic acid, the next step during which the pyruvic acid is converted into acetyl coenzyme A. In that process, 2 molecules of NADH are produced and they will give rise to 2 into 3, that is 6 ATP. Now this acetyl coenzyme A will enter into the mitochondria and it will undergo the process of Krebs cycle. In Krebs cycle, total 8 molecules of NADH are produced and that will give rise to 6 into 3, that is 18 ATPs. 2 molecules of FADH2 and 1 molecule of FADH2 is equivalent to 2 molecules of ATP, hence 2 into 2, 4 ATPs and direct 2 ATPs. In this way, we will be getting 38 ATPs. Out of that, 2 will utilized in the process of this glycolysis, and hence net gain is about 36 ATP by oxidation of 1 molecule of glucose. It will give rise to about 2870 kilojoule, and that is showing about 45% of efficiency. Now the maximum amount of heat is released in this process and very less amount of this energy, the heat is utilized or converted into the energy, and these are all about the respiratory balance sheet, that is output of respiratory pathways.
This slide is showing the total output of the aerobic respiration, that is total number of ATPs. The total number of ATPs are synthesized is about 38. Now in different stage, like in glycolysis, the total number of ATPs are 8. 2 ATPs directly and 2 NADH2 is produced, and we know that 1 NADH2 is equivalent to 3 ATP. So total 6 ATP, 6 plus 2, that is 8 ATP. Now during the oxidative decarboxylation of pyruvic acid, that is Krebs acetyl coenzyme A, that is pyruvic acid will be synthesizing the acetyl coenzyme A. Total number of NADH2 is producing, that is 2, and hence the total number of ATPs are 6. Then in case of Krebs cycle, in this step 2 ATPs are producing directly, 6 NADH2s are there produced, and that is why total number of 6 into 3, that is 18, and 2 FADH2, that is 2 into 2, 4. So in this way total number of ATPs are 24. So 8 plus 6 plus 24, that is 38 ATPs are produced in this aerobic respiration. Here we can see this how the carbon is flowing in glycolysis or the EMP pathway, that is 2 pyruvic acid are synthesized from the glucose, 2 NADH, 2 ATP, total 8 this ATP. Now formation of this acetyl coenzyme A from this pyruvic acid, that is 2 NADH2. So total number of this ATP is 6. In Krebs cycle, again in the same way 24, and hence total number of ATPs are 38, and the in this process, that is the production of this CO2, that is total oxidation of full oxidation of glucose, 6 carbon compound, that is glucose, will give rise to 6 CO2 and here and water, and the total number of ATPs are 38.
We have discussed about different types of respiration, balance sheet of respiratory pathway, ETS. Now we will discuss about the respiration is which type of reactions. It include which type of reaction, whether it is catabolism to break something or to synthesize something, that is anabolic reaction. So depending upon that, which type of pathways actually. This respiration is known as the amphibolic pathway because it includes both type of reactions, that is catabolic as well as anabolic. Catabolic means in this pathway some of the reactions shows in which the complex material, complex things are broken down into simpler one, that is known as catabolism, as well as by the simple things the complex molecules are synthesized, that is known as anabolism. For example, we can see that during the formation of synthesis of acetyl coenzyme A for entering in the Krebs cycle, the fatty acid is broken down into the acetyl coenzyme A, and this is the example of catabolism. Whereas it also includes when we are synthesizing some complex material like fatty acid is required to be synthesized, then the acetyl coenzyme A is taken and it is utilized in the synthesis of fatty acid. In the same way, during the Krebs cycle also, in some of the reactions we can see that they are showing the catabolism, that means complex things are broken down into simpler one, and in some reactions we can see the complex molecules are synthesized from the simpler one. That's why respiration is not known as a catabolic but it is known as amphibolic pathway, and that's why it includes catabolism as well as anabolism also. Now we will discuss about the next topic, that is respiratory quotient, RQ. The ratio between volume of CO2 carbon dioxide evolved in this process and the volume of oxygen consumed, and that ratio is known as respiratory quotient. That's why it is written as volume of CO2 evolved divided by volume of O2 oxygen consumed, and that ratio, that value is known as RQ or respiratory quotient. When the value of RQ depends upon the substrate which is utilized in the process of respiration. When the substrate is glucose, that is carbohydrate, then the value of this RQ is 1. In anaerobic respiration, value is infinity. If the substrate is fat, then the value will be less than 1, and when the substrate is organic acid, then the value will be more than 1. So in this way, the rate of the RQ, value of RQ or the respiratory quotient will vary depending upon the substrate which is utilized for the respiratory process.
The respiratory pathway is also known as amphibolic pathway because this pathway involves both type of reaction, that is anabolism as well as catabolism. Anabolism, that is in which the complex molecules are produced from the simpler molecules, whereas in the catabolic pathway the complex molecules will broken down into the simple product, and that's why it is known as amphibolic pathway. Here we can see this fats will undergo the process of breaking in the fatty acid and glycerol. Similarly, carbohydrate will broken down into the glucose, then pyruvic acid, that is simpler one, then acetyl coenzyme A, and then this will enter into the Krebs cycle. Now in this Krebs cycle, this H2O and CO2 will be the product. Similarly, the proteins are also broken down into the amino acids, whereas it also involves the process of formation of the complex molecules from the simpler one, like from acetyl coenzyme A, it will synthesize the alpha ketogluteric acid, citric acid, etc. So the respiration is known as amphibolic pathway because having two types of reactions, that is anabolism as well as catabolism. RQ or the respiratory quotient can be defined as the ratio between the volume of carbon dioxide produced and volume of oxygen consumed. When this value of this respiratory quotient or RQ will be changing depending upon the substance or the substrate which is participating in the process of this respiration or the oxidizing. Now this respiratory quotient the simplified equation for if it is aerobic respiration, then the reaction will be C6H12O6 plus 6CO2 will give rise to 6CO2 and 6H2O. Here we can see the amount of CO2 and oxygen is equal. That is why the volume of carbon dioxide produced and volume of oxygen consumed will come to equal to 1. So, the value will be 1 in of this RQ when the respiration is aerobic type. Similarly, if in anaerobic respiration the value will be infinite. So, here the list is given. If it is protein, then the value will be between 0.8 to 0.9. If it is this malic acid 1.33, tartaric acid 1.6, oxalic acid 4, then if it is fat, then the value will be 0.7. So, the value of RQ will be changing depending upon the type of substance which is utilized in this as a substrate in respiration. This slide is showing the comparison between the aerobic respiration and fermentation. Fermentation is the type of this anaerobic respiration which occurs in the microorganism and like yeast, bacteria, etc. And this in aerobic respiration occurs in the cytoplasm as well as mitochondria. Cytoplasm this glycolysis, and in mitochondria, that is Krebs cycle, and the end product is carbon dioxide and water, whereas in case of fermentation the end product is ethyl alcohol and carbon dioxide, and which total reaction occurs in cytoplasm only, no mitochondria is involved. And because this fermentation occurs in absence of oxygen, that is why it is also known as anaerobic respiration. One more thing is that in aerobic respiration there is complete oxidation of food material or the respiratory substrate, and hence very large amount of energy is produced, that is about 36 ATPs. Whereas in fermentation or this anaerobic respiration, incomplete oxidation of food substrate will take place and very less amount of energy is produced, that is only 2 ATP. So, in this way we can see the amount of energy, then partial oxidation of respiratory substrate in absence of oxygen. So, these are the comparison between aerobic as well as fermentation. Now, this is the comparison between glycolysis and Krebs cycle. Glycolysis takes place in cytoplasm, and this is the common pathway in aerobic as well as anaerobic respiration, whereas Krebs cycle occurs in the matrix of mitochondria, and it occurs only in aerobic respiration, not in anaerobic. It does not consume ATP, whereas in glycolysis 2 molecules of ATPs are consumed. In case of glycolysis, 2 NADH per glucose is produced, whereas 6 NADH molecules are produced, as well as 2 FADH2 molecules are also produced in this Krebs cycle. In glycolysis, the amount of energy is produced is low, whereas in Krebs cycle a very big amount of energy is produced. This glycolysis oxidizes glucose partly and producing the end product is pyruvic acid or pyruvate, whereas in Krebs cycle the acetyl coenzyme A is completely oxidized. In case of glycolysis, no CO2 is produced, whereas in case of Krebs cycle CO2 is produced. All the reactions in glycolysis occurs in the linear pathway, whereas in Krebs cycle the reactions takes place in cyclic pathway. All the enzymes which are helping in catalyzing the glycolytic reactions are dissolved in cytosol or the cytoplasm, but here in case of Krebs cycle, 2 enzymes are located in inner mitochondrial membrane and others are dissolved in the matrix of mitochondria. So, this is all about the this comparison of glycolysis as well as Krebs cycle of respiration.